Hello, this is a Respiratory Control Center's tutorial presented by the SHRDB with color reference Color Atlas of Physiology by Agamemnon Deboulos and Stefan Silvernac. So, we are going to see the respiratory control simulation. So, we first need to know that we have a voluntary center inside our body for us to control our respiration. The next part, we have emotion and temperature, which can affect our respiration, and we have coughing and sneezing reflexes affecting the respiration. But this is not the main point that I want us to know. The main point that I want us to know is to point out the fact that the respiratory center of the body, of the brain, is located at the level of the brain stem. So, we have two main locations of the respiratory centers. It can be located inside the medulla oblongata and can also be located inside the pons. Inside the medulla oblongata, the part of the respiratory center inside the medulla oblongata is controlling the rate or the ramp of respiration. What do I mean by ramp? I mean the extent or the volume which can be inspired and expired. So the control of the ramp of respiration is in the respiratory center of the medulla oblongata. Now, the next point is the control of the rate of respiration, the rhythm of respiration, and the rate is inside the part called the pons. So now we need to know that there is two main, that the respiratory center is divided into two main parts. We have the inspiratory center and we have the expiratory center. The inspiratory center is the center which is normally functional when you are doing normal activities, and the expiratory center is the center which is functional when you are only doing exertion. So now the inspiratory center is located at the dorsolateral root, while the expiratory center is going to be located at the level of the ventral portion. So we have the dorsolateral portion of the brainstem having the inspiratory center, and the ventral portion having the expiratory center. So now let's see the mechanism and control of respiration from the respiratory centers. The first point is that stimulus come from the inspiratory center. So as the stimulus come from the inspiratory center, you have inspiration. Stimulus come from inspiratory center, so signals are transported to the phrenic nerve and the other nerves involved for inspiration. So the diaphragm is going to contract. So when the diaphragm contracts, you have lung expansion. So as the lung expand, inside the lungs you have elastic receptors called mechanosensors inside the lungs and respiratory muscles. So now these elastic receptors are going to have the more they expand, the more they are going to fire impulses to the inspiratory center, such that the inspiratory center reduces the impulse transmission to the diaphragm for it to have a cutoff. So what occurs is that inspiratory center first cause signal transmission to the diaphragm and other inspiration muscle, and then they will have mechanosensors inside the lungs. The mechanosensors are going to sense that you have high inspiration, you have high volume inside the lungs. So they are going to fire up more impulses to the inspiratory center for cutoff to prevent inspiration, more further inspiration. That's the first point. The next point is that these mechanosensors can also cause, in cases of exertion, they can also leak impulses to the expiratory center for expiration to occur. Let's say that you have high level of carbon dioxide. Expiratory centers are going to be stimulated in this case. So now there's another method. So that was one method of control. The other mechanism of control is via alveolar ventilation. So you need to know that you have partial pressure of carbon dioxide. The partial pressure of carbon dioxide, you have partial pressure of carbon dioxide and partial pressure of oxygen inside the blood. When the partial pressure of carbon dioxide increases, it can be detected by the central chemoreceptors found inside the brain, and can also be detected by peripheral chemosensors. Now the peripheral chemosensors are the carotid body and the aortic body found on the aortic arc. So now these receptors, if you have high level of carbon dioxide, let's say that you have high level of carbon dioxide in blood. When you have high level of carbon dioxide in blood, what happens is that now, in addition to this other mechanism of mechanoreceptors, and you have high level of carbon dioxide, when you see the body sense high level of carbon dioxide, what happens is that there is going to be now the activation of the expiratory center of the brain, of the brain stem. Now the activation of the expiratory center now is going to cause the signaling or impulse transmission to expiratory muscles of respiration for expiration to start. So expiration start only when the body senses that there is high partial pressure, or the pH, the high partial pressure of carbon dioxide, or pH of the blood increases, and this is sent by the central chemosensors and the peripheral chemosensors. Also, you have partial pressure of oxygen, which can only be sensed by the sensors, these peripheral chemosensors. So when partial pressure of oxygen is low, is also going to, this one is instead going to activate the inspiratory center, and the partial pressure of oxygen, the low partial pressure of oxygen, can be thought as being the initiation of respiration inside the body. So now, from here, you also know that I've spoken about, you need to know that I've spoken about the rate and the ramp of inspiration and expiration. But now you need to know that there's also the rhythm. The rhythm can change when there is a chronic change in the rate and ramp of respiration. Here now you can have different rhythm that can occur. There are different rhythms which can occur when you have progressive acidosis, like Q-small breathing. You have Chain-Stokes breathing. You have bradypnea apnea syndrome and all that. So these are all. You have biode rhythm. All these are going to be controlled by the pons, or the pontine centers of the respiration. So we have seen everything involved here. We will now say that the last thing is that in order to control all of this, you can now have let's say that let's take an example that a man has high level of carbon dioxide in the body. So what are the action or the mechanisms that are going to take place? If a man have a high level of carbon dioxide in the body, you see that the body is going to sense more level of carbon dioxide via the central and the peripheral chemosensors. So now when it's going to be sensed, you're going to see that what the expiratory center are going to be activated. Now since expiratory center are going to be activated, usually expiration takes 3 seconds, expiration takes 2 seconds, while inspiration takes 3 seconds. So now expiration center are going to activate it, and now expiration time is going to be increased much more than the inspiration time in this person. The second point is that the rate of expiration is going to be, the rate of breathing is going to be much more. You need to know that when you increase the rate of breathing, you can change the expiration inspiration ratio. So these are the points that I wish you to know. So from here we say thanks for your kind attention. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for our YouTube channel. Thank you.